Hello class, my name is Robert Gear and this is my video discussion for Scenario 2. Starting off for Scenario 2, I'm a commercial rated pilot and one of my friends asked if I can cover a flight for him. My friend flies for a local news station and what he does is he flies the plane around the busy traffic or high congestion areas for the morning news. For this flight, I have no problem covering it for him. I know the area that he flies in, I know the plane that he's flying, and I speak with the reporter and ask him what kind of situations we might be getting into and try to get some information before I jump in this flight. Prior to this flight, I treat it as any other flight. We're going to make sure we have good flight planning as well as a solid pre-flight before we get in the plane. With that being said, we take the time to do a complete walk around, check out the avionics, make sure everything's working as it's advertised on the plane to make sure it's going to be safe to fly. I speak with the reporter and ask what routes he'll want to cover, what areas he wants me to fly over. Then I can look at the obstacles or any certain airspaces I need to be aware of during that time. After speaking with the reporter, we're all on the same page. We covered our route, our flight plan, the airspaces and obstacles, and we're going to start this flight. Everything on this flight's going smooth so far. We're covering some of the major highways. When we came across a car crash on one of the highways going through a little bit of a pileup, and the reporter wanted me to get as low as I could so he can get a better view of this crash. During the pre-flight and flight preparations, I made sure to go over all the obstacles and all the areas I was going to be covering. And where the area where this crash was, I happen to know the location. We got an overlay of the area, and I explained to him the rules we have for minimum altitudes in congested areas. The goal of this flight is to cover the traffic, and I understood that. I knew we'd be encountering or maybe encountering a car crash or some big congested areas that the reporter would want to better look at. So with that being said, I looked into the 14 CFR, Part 91-119, our minimum safe altitudes, and I wanted to go over to make sure I was in the right in all parts of this flight. I explained to the reporter before this flight that at any time, no person may operate an aircraft below an altitude allowing, if a power unit fails, an emergency landing without undue hazard to persons or property on the surface. With that being said, it was the baseline of how I explained our minimum altitudes for this flight. Now explaining flight over a congested area, which is the area we were flying in, I explained to him that no pilot may fly lower than 1,000 feet above the highest obstacle in a 2,000 foot radius. As I explained minimum safe altitudes over congested areas again to the reporter, I let him know there's a building right below us at about 600 feet. So with that, I would not go lower than 1,600 feet. He has a very nice camera in the plane. I know it's got great zoom capabilities. And the reporter understood the legal constraints I was under as a pilot. I wasn't going to risk my license. Or at worst, if something were to happen that low and we could not get a safe spot to land, we'd most likely be on the news ourselves, and that wasn't going to happen either. So he understood, so we ended up just slow flight, circling around the crash until it was cleared. Once I got everything cleaned up, traffic resumed to its normal operations, and we went home. We got home safe, and everything went according to plan. At this point, the news was covered, the traffic was covered, and we made it home safe. I don't know if they'd invite me back or ask me to cover a flight again if I did give the reporter some grief about flying as low as I could, but I made the decision to make it a safe flight and to adhere to my regulations that I have to. So I am happy with the choices that I made throughout this flight, and if they do give me the chance, I'd love to do it again. Thank you for watching my video for the second scenario in this class. Again, I am excited to read the replies, also watch the other videos, and see how other people took their approach to this scenario. There's always different factors that different people think about. Flying is, all pretty standardized, but our thought process as pilots will always be a little different from each other. So, hope you enjoyed it again. Have a nice day.